Ben and Candace, let me first start off by saying I am so happy the two of you guys are talking, as well as agreeing to do a sit down. Obviously, the detail is the challenge. So this is my proposal to you. If you're America First, we, Valuetainment, have agreed that if you want to do the sit down with us, a fair and balanced sit down, the moderating of the two of you, we will give $250,000 to Laken Riley's family. Because of what's happening today with illegal immigration, it's the #1 issue in America, and I think it matters to the both of you. So no matter where you live, today we're raising our kids in America. So I want to make sure we're America first.
All right, folks, well, this is big news. So Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens have officially agreed to a debate, and that is a huge development because, as I've been saying throughout this entire drama, look, all this going back and forth and attacking each other on Twitter, it's entertaining, but it's not exactly productive. It's not exactly really furthering the conservative movement. If anything, it's causing a lot of drama and division on election year that we don't really need. And if we're going to settle this issue, and which is clearly probably half personal, but if we're going to settle it on the substance, then do the debate, have the discussion. And we had this wild back and forth on Twitter over the weekend where I think Candace came to Ben and said, Ben, I challenge you to a debate. Ben Shapiro responded saying, sure, we'll do it on the Daily Wire. Candace Owens says, no, that's biased, which I think is kind of valid, by the way, folks. I understand her perspective there, but fine. That's biased. Let's do it on a neutral platform. Ben says, no, the Daily Wire. They go back and forth, and eventually they have just agreed to talk it out in private and schedule the debate, and that's officially where we are. Now, I still think that there is an open question here of whether or not the debate will actually happen, and maybe we'll talk about that in a second, but just to show you the whole chronicle of events that went on here, I'm going to let PBD explain it because they talked about it on their podcast today, and I'd rather not just sit here and read for you all the tweets. So let's let someone else read the tweets for us, and then we'll explain more. And PBD is kind of involved in some of the drama here at the moment, so let's let him explain it. Here you go.
That kind of started the whole thing. I think it's right there, Rob. First, she tweets this out, which we talked about, Andrew Schultz. Andrew, I hope you're happy with the fight you've created, Andrew. Yep. For a guy that's as funny as you are, and we watch you you've started a war, Andrew. Yeah. I hope you understand the amount of pain you're creating on social media today. Anyways, he says what he says there at the bottom. Ben, wait a minute. And then Candace responds, I would like to debate Ben Shapiro on Israel and the current definition of anti-Semitism. Can anybody make this happen? Ben responds back, and he says, well, I actually sent you a message for us to do this on February 29th, but you never responded back or something like that. Yeah. If you want to do it, let's do it Monday at Nashville at Daily Wire headquarters. Okay, I think that's Ben's response. Sure, Candace, I texted you on February 29th offering this very thing. Let's do this on my show Monday at 5 p.m. at our studio in Nashville, 90 minutes live stream. Then she responds back, and she says, I'm sure you can appreciate why I prefer to keep this off Daily Wire platform, as well as true reason why we've never been able to make any discussions happen. Let's choose a neutral, trustworthy platform. I vote Patrick Bet-David.
I know that guy.
Yeah, and then he comes back, and Ben says the following thing. Ben says, Rob, if you can pull his response to that. Candace, I can see why you'd want to hide behind a moderator, particularly one who said we should rename our company the Daily Jewish Wire just yesterday. I said the Daily Israeli Wire, but it's fine. I'll say both of them. No, one-on-one, Monday, 5 p.m., we can sit down and have a healthy debate like adults, and we'll live stream on X and YouTube, take it or leave it. As to the true reasons you didn't respond to my offer to sit down with you and discuss the issue publicly or privately in February, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, hold on. Let's pause right there because I want to clarify something. Okay, I've been trying to sort of be empathetic towards both sides in this situation because, as I've said, I don't think that the drama right now is really the best timing. But to clarify, okay, and to defend Patrick Bet-David, because I'm a fan of his and I watch his show a lot, and I actually listened to this controversial segment, quote unquote, where he said allegedly the Daily Jewish Wire, people would take that out of context to say he was throwing out some type of anti-Semitic dog whistle. That's just wildly out of context. Okay, that's just not really at least the implication here, not exactly what he was saying. That's number one. Number two, having watched a lot of the PBD podcast, I will say, Ben is fine to have his own reasons to want to do it on a different platform. That's whatever. That's personal preference. Honestly, for me, Candace wants a moderator. Ben wants to do one-on-one. Either way, okay, that's really just personal preference. That's what they want. That's nothing crazy about that. But what I will say is that, first of all, Ben Shapiro, if I'm not mistaken, has had Patrick Bet David on the Sunday special. Okay, so they've met, they've talked, they've been friendly with one another. PBD also had Jeremy Boring on the show and stuff. So I don't understand. I'm just saying, I don't understand where this idea this implication that PBD is some type of hostile actor towards Ben or whatever came from. Okay, maybe I just don't know something, but that's kind of out of left field in my opinion. But also, number two, what I would say in fairness is, having watched a lot of PBD podcasts and knowing that the guy does a lot of these roundtables, does a lot of these debates, you can go watch him for yourself if you don't believe me. The guy's a very fair, in my opinion, and good and neutral moderator when he needs to be. Okay, so I personally, I think the idea to do it on Valuetainment would have been fine. Okay, now if Candace decides that she wants to do it on the Daily Wire, then that's fine as well. I understand her reasons for not. Frankly, to a degree, I also understand, hey, maybe Ben thinks that the PBD panel, more so besides Adam, is very pro-Candace, so he wants a more neutral platform. It's fair enough. What I'm just mildly critical of, I will say, is this implication that PBD, take his words out of context and try to say something he didn't say. So I'll just point that out really quickly, So, but anyways, continuing the story here.
What the hell you're talking about? Okay, cool. Let's keep going. So then the next thing she says, you can go back to the other one, Robin, and back. If you can go back to the next tweet Candace puts. Anyways, they keep going back and forth. We even made an offer ourselves. A lot of names came up go to one lower than that. See what she's got, that one. I'm not hiding behind a moderator. I'm just choosing not to bring guys to Daily Wire. You're rather typically removing PBD's words from proper context to make it seem as though he's baselessly attacking you. Rather, he offered free advice. The Daily Wire would not take heat if they were open about their priorities. But I'll choose to be understanding regarding your exhaustive sensitivities to everyone, everywhere. Would you prefer Charlie Kirk or Tim Cass? They keep going back and forth, okay? Mm-hmm. Finally, Jeremy Boring gets involved. I gave a message and we made our offer. Rob, how long is that video? If it's too long, don't know. It's 2:43. Don't play it. We made our offer on what we said and she retweeted that. Can you show what she says? Patrick Bet David just threw $250,000 for Lake and Riley's family to make this debate open. And yes, Ben Shapiro did take PBD's words completely out of context. There was zero malicious intent. I'm America first, so I'm in. Amazing option to make this charitable. So we.
And again, having watched that myself, I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing on this video because it is a pretty long segment of a podcast. That is true, right? It was not PBD just kind of attacking Shapiro baselessly. It was, well, you'll see. Okay.
Kind of wanted to bring this back to America because Candace has 3 kids, Ben has 4 kids, I have 4 kids. We all live in America. It should be America first, not Iran first, not Armenia first, not Israel first. It should be America first. If you think it's Israel first, go to Israel. We all love America. We're all choosing to raise our kids here. Jeremy Boring response, and I think he was the one that was able to bring the whole thing together. It's Shabbat, but I think Ben was clear. One-on-one, in-person, Nashville, Monday, 5 p.m. live stream on X and YouTube. I'll add, there will be no ads on video, no charge to watch it. No one cashes in. You debated.
Which I think is a good thing, okay? Now, Candace, I suppose, could make a counter argument saying, hey, even if you're not monetizing that video, you'd still be boosting your engagement, which would monetize other videos, but that's a little bit of a stretch, okay? I think probably part of her chief gripe here, besides giving the Daily Wire attention, because she doesn't like the Daily Wire as well, why should I go on there, make them money, because they're going to monetize it with ad revenue, and basically give all the power to them, So I think Jeremy to come out and say this, if they're going to do it on Daily Wire, there will be no ads. That's probably the way it should be. Honestly, that's probably the way it should be.
Destiny on his show without the moderator less than a month ago and have debated plenty of people without a moderator on your show. You asked for a debate. If you want it, come have it. Then Candace responds and says, you guys have known all along that I will be in London for 2 weeks. So you've known the schedule. You've known I'm in London. You've known for months I'm going to be there. Daily Wire employees were initiated, slated to be here. I certainly swing this virtually on Monday, one-on-one, if you guys really just cannot wait for me to get back, but I'm refusing to allow this to happen on Daily Wire platform. This request seems perfectly reasonable and understandably to everyone but Daily Wire. Why is it?
That weird?
Then,
Which I think it is. Okay. Now, Jeremy's doing a good thing by trying to, hey, we'll add some stipulations to make it more fair to you. But still, I do think it is reasonable. The beef is with Daily Wire. Let's not do the debate on the Daily Wire. To me, that logic makes sense. But anyways.
And he finally breaks it down, and he says this. If you can go to Jeremy Boring's tweet that he has. By the way, Lex Friedman got involved. Tim got involved. Rogan didn't get involved, but they dropped Rogan's name on there. Jeremy Boring, that's the one right there. Yeah. I don't know your international travel schedule, Candace. I know when you wanted to talk to someone in the past, you've flown across the world to make it happen. He would know her travel schedule.
Obviously.
You're her boss. What do you mean you don't know? Yeah. But maybe if he doesn't know, it's your top 2 talent. Why would you not know that person's schedule? You, as a CEO, should know where your top 2 talent is. You asked for a debate. Ben agreed to debate. You don't want it on Daily Wire channel. Fine. We can live stream it to your channels. You don't want to shoot it at Daily Wire studio. Fine. We'll rent a studio in Nashville. You don't want Daily Wire crew. Fine. We'll hire a local crew. You don't want a Daily Wire pay for it. Fine. You're rich. You can pay for it. You don't want to do it Monday. Fine. Let us know how long you need to prepare. Let us know how long you need to prepare. We will not agree to moderator, no third party to put their finger on the scale. We will not agree to virtual or edited video, live, in-person, one-on-one. The rest of it is just noise. So now Candace then responds back to this, and she says the last part, if you can go to it, which is, not that one. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one right there. Bearing the odd insinuation that you didn't know your own employees were booked on international flights to come join me exactly to film your platform. This is great. I fully accept. No moderator. I will get in touch privately to get the setup. Major win. Great.
Okay, so there we have it, folks. So we're now at the position now where Candace says, I agree to the debate. I agree to Jeremy Boring's terms. I will be in touch privately, as she says. I will be in touch privately to set this up. Now, why did I raise the question in the beginning of, will this whole thing actually happen? Well, I'll just say this, okay? I don't have any insider knowledge about this. I just know that sometimes this is how it goes in the industry, which is when you have that sort of terminology, you say, okay, we're going to talk about it privately. Usually a conversation starts, but then sometimes logistics get in the way or one person goes to the other or whatever happens. And next thing you know, the plan you had, it's been 3 to 4 months and it never actually happens. And so that would be my one concern is I think it should happen. I hope they figure out some type of way. But when the setup for the debate shifts from public to private and they say, okay, we're going to have a private conversation. Sometimes that private conversation, again, speaking from experience, this is just sometimes how it goes, right? Never happens, or it starts and never finishes. And next thing you know, this thing that we think we're going to see, we never end up seeing. So that's what I will say about this situation is, honestly, if I were to give you my personal read, my personal instinct, and some of you may agree, some of you disagree, but honestly, I don't think that the Ben Shapiro Candace Owens debate is actually going to happen. Okay. It's going to, political term, I guess, Senate term, in my opinion, is probably going to get filibustered, right? It's just going to, okay, we're going to set this up. Oh no, this schedule, that schedule, blah, blah, blah. Maybe excuses from one side or the other side or whatever. Next thing you know, you just never have a debate. So again, I hope that it happens. It will be good for the movement if it happens, because if we're going to have this whole back and forth, let's at least reach some type of resolution. It's much better to certainly have a debate than to do this over a Twitter beef, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what actually happens there. Now, with that said, last thing I do want to play in this video is PBD's offer where he was trying to set up a debate between Candace and Shapiro, because, again, I think some of his intentions and words here have been seriously misconstrued, and I want him to be able to talk for himself here. And so here's him clarifying that whole situation. Here you go.
Ben and Candace, let me first start off by saying I am so happy the two of you guys are talking, as well as agreeing to do a sit down. Obviously, the detail is the challenge where we're going to figure out. Let me give you a couple things I want you to be thinking about. One, Ben, let me address your issue about what I said yesterday with the Daily Israeli Wire. I even said the Daily Jewish Wire. If you haven't watched the entire context of what I said, I'm going to put the link below. You can go watch the entire thing on what I said from the beginning to the end. I highly recommend you watch it. Second,
Again, I highly recommend you guys watch this too. It's like 24 minutes. It's a little long. I'm not going to add it to all the meat of this video, but go see for yourself. It wasn't some type of anti-Semitic dig at Ben Shapiro. But
why I think you have to know where my perspective is slightly different is I understand where you're coming from because I lived in Iran as a kid from the day I was born till 10 years old, where we were bombed 167 times in one day. 500,000 people died, and I was a Christian kid living in a nation where 98% were Muslim. We were afraid to talk about what we were all about. So I feel the pain of people living in Israel, and I fully feel the pain of some of the folks who are Christian folks maybe living in Palestine that don't agree with what's going on with Hamas. I understand both sides, and that's why I understand what Candace is saying, and I also understand why you have the position that you have. Having said that, there's a couple things I want you to be thinking about.
By the way, I would say I'm in a similar camp there, you know?
Number one, you are Jewish. I think you're from Burbank, California, if I'm not mistaken, and you got 4 kids. I'm Middle Eastern, Armenian, Assyrian, born in Iran. I went to Glendale, California. And then we have Candace, who I believe is from White Plains, New York, with 3 kids. We're all family folks, right? When we come down and sit down and have the conversation together, we're in America today. So this is my proposal to you. If you're America first, we, Valuetainment, have agreed that if you want to do the sit down with us, a fair and balanced sit down, the moderating of the 2 of you, we will give $250,000 to Laken Riley's family because of what's happening today with illegal immigration. It's the #1 issue in America, and I think it matters to the both of you. So no matter where you live, today we're raising our kids in America. So I want to make sure we're America first. And last but not least, while we're talking about this, I'm going to be around for a very long time in this space. We're going to be hosting many, many different types of conversations like this. Whether you're left, center, or right, people come here, they feel safe with us, which means we're going to do a very fair interview with the 2 of you. And the details is on you to say yes or no. If not, totally understand. If you're open to it, I think I live 25 minutes away from you. Let's make this happen and unite specifically to the biggest voices in the conservative space. Take care, guys.
So again, I just wanted to play that because, you know, an aspect of the situation I don't like is PBD being set up to be some type of bad guy or bad faith actor in this entire situation. As he brought up in that video, and I will attest to, not only has he been a very good debate moderator for the things he's done in the past, but one thing I'll give credit to his show as compared to a lot of other podcasts that not so much is they really let the guests talk. You know, when there's crossfire, when there's debate going on, those of you who watch Valuetainment will attest to this. He doesn't get in the way, you know. But, you know, okay, if Ben Shapiro doesn't want to do it on that specific platform, that's fair enough. That's his call. I'm not here to demand that, hey, you have to do it this place or that place, because I also understand why Candace doesn't want to do it on the Daily Wire. Okay, but the point I'm making, bigger picture here, is the kind of dig or the slander about, you know, PBD insinuating he was this anti-Semite about the entire situation. It's just not accurate. You know, it's just not accurate. Again, I encourage you folks, if you're curious, go watch what he actually said. I don't think that was necessary. Okay. Respectfully, humbly, I just don't think that was very necessary. Okay. With that said, folks, basically wraps up what I have to say here today. You can let me know in the comment section down below. Who do you think would win that debate? Whose team are you on here? Sure, most of the audience is going to vote Candace, but if you're Team Shapiro, you know, you're free to make your argument in the comment section as well. And we'll see. Okay, folks, we'll have to see. I certainly want to see this debate happen, okay? Because I know there's one of 2 alternatives. Either the Twitter war continues or we just sit down and have a debate. Okay. What's preferable to everyone? I think we all agree. How it happens, when it happens, I'd venture to guess. I don't think it's going to be on Monday, okay? But hey, maybe in a month. Who knows? They're going to have this election. They're going to have this debate. Watch. 2025, the election is over. Everyone forgot about this. The war in Gaza might be over. They finally get it together. I hope that doesn't happen, okay? I hope we actually see this come together. But with that said, be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and until next time, Alpha Moves Only, God bless, and peace.